one thing that I feel like just maybe as an industry in general, we're not as proactive in getting employees ready for, that movement up. I think we say, oh, I've got people that, could move into that position, but we don't actively say, okay, here's your learning plan. We're going to, once a week, we're going to check off these boxes and we're going to make sure that you're ready. So when a spot opens, they can immediately move to that position.
Welcome to the Swine Health Blackbelt Podcast, the latest swine health research digested for you. My name's Dr. 𝗬𝗽𝗀𝘁𝘀𝘀. I'm the host of the podcast. And joining me on this week's episode is 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝘁𝘀𝘀 Spinar. 𝗟𝗶 is a multiplication farm manager with the JBS system. 𝗟𝗶, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy day, calling in from a farm. Bonus points already. For folks that haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, why don't we start off with a little introduction for the audience?
Okay, well, thank you so much, Dr. Johnson. I really appreciate you having me on. I grew up here in central Missouri, kind of close to Clinton. So I've actually got quite a bit of a cattle background. I did 4-H, FFA, kind of the normal. I attended University of Central Missouri, received my bachelor's in ag business. My emphasis was in animal science. Graduated in 2015. I actually started with Cargill, so before the buyout. I went to Dalhart, Texas as a management trainee. So I was there for about a year and a half. I learned lots of stuff. I went through the EHS down there, did some warehouse stuff, feed mill, just really did the rounds and learned a lot of stuff because I didn't have any experience in commercial pig production. So it was definitely an eye-opener for me. So there kind of towards the end, I was an assistant manager for about 6 months. And then in late 2016, my husband and I actually moved back to Missouri and we got married. And I worked actually a short time for independent producer here in Missouri. And a sow farm field manager position came open with JBS. And, I applied and accepted that position. And I did that for about 4 years. And it was very different than what I had learned, just because it was company owned versus the contract growers. So just trying to persuade people that, hey, I have your best interest in mind, like let's work together, sometimes was a challenge. And but it taught me a lot. So and then in 2020, JBS was building a new sow farm just a couple miles from my house. And I had never been around new construction. So Dr. 𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗃𝗃, he was my supervisor at the time. And I asked him, I said, hey, like when you're here, like checking up on the progress, do you mind if I, come and just walk and you explain things to me? And he was like, yeah, sure. Like no problem at all. And so that was something that really taught me a lot. And so then Carl, I don't know if I really volunteered or, if he asked me to help with the open house and the hiring and that kind of thing. And I was like, oh, sure, no problem. And we were kind of in the midst of all that. And he was like, hey, are you interested in being the manager for this new farm? And I just really did not feel like I had enough experience or knowledge to run a large multiplication farm. And, he kind of left it alone for a little bit. And then I got a call from Dr. Turner and he kind of asked the same thing. And I don't know that I really felt ready for the position, but I'd never managed this many people. When I was an assistant manager, it's a little different dynamic, and I'd never done hiring or budgets, and there was just so much that I had never done. And but he really encouraged me, and he said, I think you can do a great job, and that really did make me feel pretty good that they expressed they thought I could. So I accepted, and I have been here for 3 years now, and I've learned so much. I've done hiring, interviews, the good and bad of all of that, and then managing 24 people can be interesting, to say the least. They've always got something new for you to try to maneuver or try to figure out. And I still am 7 miles from my house, and that's really nice, just because my husband and I have 4 children. They are 5 months old, 2 years, 4 years, and 6 years. So they keep me very busy, that's for sure.
Curious to discover if you can manage your animal data and teams work with the touch of a finger? Some of the best and largest pig farm holdings worldwide use cloud farms to collect and analyze data like never before. How? With the most advanced mobile app to collect data accurately and super fast. For breeding, farrowing, weaning, and finishing. Also, this is the easiest way to assign tasks to your team and motivate to work more efficiently. You instantly understand what gets done on time and what doesn't. So yes, you can manage your animal data with the touch of a finger.
I've got children myself, and so we can all empathize with your position. You're in a thankless job, both at home and at work, right? The job is 24/7. At home, being a wife and a mother, and the job is 24/7 at the 𝗪𝗏 farm, right? You have huge responsibilities to those 24 people that depend on you for leadership. So if you want to talk a little bit about how you manage that situation where you've got so many expectations at home and at work, how do you balance that?
Sure. So I would say it's difficult. I tell people all the time, I've got my work kids and then my actual kids. So, I feel like I've got a lot of kids, but, I think the one huge blessing that I have is my mother-in-law is able to take care of our kids and watch them full time. And that's a huge, burden lifted off of our shoulders. We know exactly who's taking care of our kids, and, I don't worry about what happens at home. I know she has got, wonderful intentions, and the kids get a little spoiled, but that's normal if grandma's watching them.
That's what grandma's for.
Yes. So, I would say there's several things that, are challenging. There's sometimes I've been pregnant, last year. And so, there's sometimes, I just said, hey, I can't attend this event, or, especially with like a newborn, doing any overnight travel. Hey, I'm really sorry, I can't do that this year, but, maybe next year. And so it does limit me kind of in that perspective, but, I feel like it makes me appreciate, staying at home and spending time with my kids. And, so one thing that I try to do, to really separate and make sure that I'm contributing to both sides, is, I try to make hard limits for myself, okay, I could put 12 hours a day, every single day here at the farm. But I just have to say, okay, maybe on Mondays and Tuesdays are my busy days. So yeah, I'll put a 12-hour day in. But then, the rest of the week, we may leave at, 2:00 or something like that. So just setting hard, and just setting limits for myself is really the thing that helps me.
Yeah. Goals and boundaries, both at work and at home, are pretty important to maintaining some sort of balance.
Yes. Yeah. And like I said, me living this close to home, it's really nice because, being the manager, I can get my kids up in the morning, put them on the school bus, and still be here at work in a good time, and, spend all of my day here. And if I need to pick a kid up, I'm 10 minutes from town. So it's, I've really enjoyed that aspect of this farm in particular.
Very good. Kara, let's talk a little bit about the employees at work. You've got a good reputation for developing your employees and preparing them for their jobs today and their jobs tomorrow. Talk to us about how you think about employee development.
Sure. So one thing that I have sat down and developed is a kind of like an assistant management learning plan. And my assistant manager, Denise, she is wonderful. She has been, she's been with me since last year. So she has helped me in, okay, what are the goals for our employees here at the farm? And, one thing that I feel like just maybe as an industry in general, we're not as proactive in getting employees ready for, that movement up. I think we say, I've got people that, could move into that position, but we don't actively say, okay, here's your learning plan. We're going to, once a week, we're going to check off these boxes and we're going to make sure that you're ready. So when a spot opens, they can immediately move to that position.
Yeah.
So, we put them through that assistant manager learning plan. I've got a couple that are going to attend the JBS Supervisor Development Program out in 𝗟𝗽𝗃. So they'll be there for about a week later this year. And I think really and this is not just me, Denise helps me so much, is, trying to find the people that we, want to work with, because there's such different personalities with every person, you're looking for somebody who wants what's best for the farm. I've got people who just want to clock in and clock out, and they are not, leadership material. Mm-hmm. And I think one of my biggest things and I even tell them how great, or how much I appreciate it, but just someone with a good attitude. I really appreciate that, because the morale on the farm is so important that I don't want to sacrifice that with a lead who is grumpy 95% of the time. And we've had some promotions that just didn't work out, and we did eventually have to demote just because, you think, oh, this will be great. And then later down the road, it's just not worth leaving them in that position. So, somebody that is a big picture thinker is really important, and they're wanting to, to learn more. So some of the other things developmentally that we try to work on is I try to make sure that the entire crew is very well informed. It just makes things so much more efficient because, somebody's not out in the barn. Hey, I'm not really sure what's going on, so I need to go ask. If everybody knows, okay, we're going to do this on this day, this on, just well-informed keeps things so much more efficient. We do, weekly meetings with my leads where we try to do, hey, feedback from them, feedback from me, their struggles, their issues, just with the leads. So I feel like it's just a good bonding experience or team building experience. And, we do group meetings with all the employees twice a week, Mondays and Fridays, just, hey, on Monday, this is what the week looks like, expectations, and then at the end of the week, okay, what's coming up next week, just so nobody's, surprised. So we do some one-on-one interviews. We don't do those as often, usually like twice a year. And, just trying to make sure that everyone feels heard and their concerns can be, taken care of. Because if we do it in more of a group, people don't like to open up near as much. So, but really the only other thing that I was wanting to kind of talk about was, being in this position, I feel like I have become, or I usually volunteer as guinea pig for any of like the new, like technology, or
you're willing to try new things that might help the farm. You're willing,
sure,
right? When you said you're willing to be the guinea pig.
Yeah. So it's just, I'm wanting to be helpful. And especially like if we have things that will help the employees, down the road, like, hey, I would love to try that. You know, my employees are very receptive and, hey, yeah, we'll try it. No problem. So I think just enjoying, like, going to trade shows and expos, and, you know, if somebody has an idea, or I have an idea at one of the expos, like, hey, I want to try this. You know, my supervisors have been really great about, yeah, sure, you can go ahead and try that. But yeah, just trying to, you know, move forward and being, you know, just trying to move up, I guess.
That's awesome. I mean, it sounds like that you guys have a culture there at JBS is one that values your employees, that gives employees opportunities like yourself, that maybe you have to be kind of convinced that, no, you are ready for this opportunity. But then also they let you bring tools into the organization, ideas, concepts that'll help make the next 𝗟𝗃 just as successful as you've been. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that's kind of what I'm hearing. Is that a fair assessment?
Sure. Yes, definitely. JBS has got the 7 core values, and I feel like, you know, I want my employees to exhibit those core values just as much as, you know, the upper management. And so just them knowing, okay, what is our, you know, what are our values, and making sure that everyone is, you know, exemplifying those.
Yep.
Salmonella presents significant challenges to pig health and performance and poses food safety risks to humans. As the first and only vaccine offering live attenuated strains of both Salmonella 𝗁𝗃 and 𝗽𝗹𝗁𝘀𝗃, Enterosol Salmonella TC from 𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗃 protects pigs against both serotypes with a single oral dose. Talk to your 𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗃 representative to learn more.
Yeah, well, 𝗟𝗃, we've just met today, but I can tell you I'm very impressed with your communication of those core values and what they mean to you and your family, your work family, your home family. You really do a wonderful job of representing the team that you work for. And I want to tell you that I hope you get opportunities like this ongoing forever and forever, because the pork industry needs a lot more 𝗟𝗃s. And we need to figure out a way where we can develop even more folks like yourself that are excited to come to work every day and help to contribute to the wonderful food production opportunities we have.
Well, thank you so much. I like I said, I have the cattle background, but I have really enjoyed over the last, you know, 9 years working in the pig industry and meeting all kinds of people. I really love to network and learn new things. So it's been a great ride.
My dad's a cattle farmer, 𝗟𝗃, and I can assure you that if there's one thing I know about cattle farming, you need a day job to facilitate the cattle farming. So I can appreciate that.
Oh yeah, somebody's got to be my husband's sugar mama.
𝗟𝗃, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure to chat with you, and I really appreciate your contributions to the show.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thanks to our audience. Thanks for joining 𝗟𝗃 and I. Please do subscribe to the podcast so that you hear 𝗟𝗃's episode and every other one that we put out every Friday. For Clayton Johnson and 𝗟𝗃 Spinar, it's been a wonderful conversation. Glad to spend some time with you, and please have a great rest of your day.